As I read, Lean and Green program focuses on the logistics sector and the reduction of emissions of freight transport. What is your method to reach this goal?
First, logistics is super important for every economy. If you want to have economic growth, you need logistics. Because we have such great logistics, the Netherlands is the second largest exporter of agricultural products. And that is quite an achievement because our country is half the size of Hungary. So we're relatively small, but we are so strong in agriculture because we have strong logistics. So what we all understand is that CO2 reduction is very important. What we all understand is that the Netherlands is strong in logistics, but that also means that because we are strong, that we also have a big responsibility in achieving zero emissions. And it's a two-way street, or let's say there are two parties. There's on the one side the government that wants the industry to reduce its CO2 emissions, and on the other side the industry that also thinks it's important. And we have just agreed with one another on very ambitious CO2 reduction targets. Industry also agrees with that, but the only way to do this is to work together, and working together on concrete ways to reduce the emissions.
And everybody wants to work together. I read a presentation from you when you were talking about this golden triangle, which means the contribution of the industry, the knowledge institutions, and the government. Everybody is ready to help.
It may sound too good to be true, but there is a very long tradition in my country that it's important for the country, but also for everyone, for the companies, for the ones who want to make money, if there's a close cooperation between the companies, the government, and the research institutes. So yes, there is this willingness to cooperate. It doesn't always automatically go easy or fluid, but at the end of the day, large companies like Unilever, Lidl, Sligro, they all understand that they have a responsibility, for example, as providers of food products.
We are speaking a lot about the sustainability, and as I said, there's various programs in this area. Don't you think is it counterproductive having so much programs?
I think it's very important that as a society, but also as Europe, you set goals together. But I think we also have to understand that we have a very complex economy, and therefore you need separate programs. For example, here with our Hungarian friends from the Ministry of Innovation, we have set up a platform for circular economy. And at the same time, we are now also setting up this platform with our Hungarian friends on Lean and Green. Because even though Lean and Green is related to circularity, we think the companies that have a different focus, and circularity has much more to do with how do you deal with waste, whereas Lean and Green focuses really on the distribution, on transport, on cars.
We can say that in Europe, for example, Netherlands or Germany has more responsibility in this question than, for example, Hungary, which is a smaller country with smaller economy.
As a large player, you have a large responsibility. But at the same time, Hungary has also the ambition to become more important in logistics. So I'm also very happy that Hungary is now a partner in the Lean and Green distribution program.
How many other countries have this program, Lean and Green program, in Europe?
I think at the moment we have 14 countries that also have adopted this program. And I think it is very justified that Hungary is among the first 14, 15 countries that is participating in this, because the Hungarian government has the ambition to really make Hungary an important distribution hub. By air, by freight, by train, or by car. So I think it's very important that Hungary is now a member of this club. Mm-hmm. And it is a great club because it unites 500 companies. So it's a great opportunity also for Hungarian companies and research institutes to compare notes, to see what are the best practices, what are the stupid mistakes, what you should not do, learn, etc.
And what do you think about the attitude of the Hungarian government in this topic? Do they seem like they want to contribute, or they are more undecisive to take part of this?
I think that the Hungarian government is ambitious. They want Hungary to go up on the ladder of and become more innovative. And there's really this push to move from made in Hungary to invented in Hungary. And we are also ambitious because it is important that Hungary becomes richer. The difference between Hungary and Austria and Hungary and the Netherlands is about 40% in GDP per capita, and we need to bridge the gap. So we welcome the ambition of Hungarian politicians. We welcome the ambition of Hungarian entrepreneurs and citizens.
And what is the role of GS1 in this project?
As a government, you always have to be a little bit modest because you can think about the frameworks, the rules, etc. But you really need companies. And we are happy to partner with GS1 because we think that they can provide us a platform in which we can organize Hungarian companies, Hungarian partners in this endeavor, in this important case.
And what is your goal in the next, for example, 10 years? Because if we are talking about climate change and talking about how to stop the effects of the global warming, for example, we are talking about the reduction of the toxic gases, as you mentioned. What is the goal for 2030, for example?
The goal for the Netherlands is minus 25%. But our long-term goal in 2050 is to become carbon neutral, which of course is very audacious, very hairy, very ambitious. But at the same time, we think it's important. Some parts of the country are below sea level, so it would also be, let's say, it's also very logical for the Netherlands to be concerned about rising sea levels. So therefore, we think it's also important. We also acknowledge that Hungary still needs a lot of economic growth. So we also acknowledge that. But we also, I also think it's interesting that Hungary has reduced its CO2 emissions since 1990 by 32%.
The fight in climate change and the economic growth are two topics which are opposite, or they can be hand in hand?
I hope it can be hand in hand. Not everybody feels that way yet. But I think if you make sustainability part of the way you run your company, it may initially be seen a little bit as a brake, but at the same time it allows you to go faster in fields that are important and that are promising. We were at a conference and somebody said, "Why is there a brake in the car?" And the simple answer, of course, is to make it go faster, because if there is no brake in the car cannot really go fast. And I think with sustainability, you can see it as a brake, but you can also see it as a tool to rethink what you're doing. And companies who really understand what they're doing, who really understand their business, then most often they get rewarded by the financial sector. Because if the banks or the financial partners speak with those companies, they see that these girls and guys understand their business. So they are much more persuasive. So it requires due diligence in your own company, but you also need to understand how your business, how your services, products fit into global value chains and where you can influence that.